go. All right, Hari, thanks for joining me. You're the first guest on a new series that I'm running where, before the games last year, I interviewed all the athletes. And even then, post that, I was thinking I should do the same thing where I interview affiliates. And so obviously took a long time for me to get going, but I decided to kick this off and to kick it off with you. I was thinking, who should I interview? There's obviously a lot of options. And I thought I haven't talked to Hari in a very long time, and I love what he's doing at CrossFit NYC. So sent you an email yesterday, and you responded quickly. So thank you for jumping on. Before I turn it over to you, I went to your website and I want to read this because this is super cool. This is from CrossFit NYC. CrossFit training. CrossFit NYC Flatiron is now the oldest CrossFit gym in the world, 2005. CrossFit NYC Upper West Side was established under the same management in 2013. More people have learned CrossFit at these two locations than anywhere else. I believe that. I've been to your gyms and you have a fuck ton of people who come through. I believe that. If you want to get fitter, leaner, stronger, we have the program, the coaches, and the facility to help you reach your goals. This is true no matter what age, weight, or shape you are in now. The best way to understand what we do is to schedule a visit. On Wednesday and Saturday, our classes are demanding, but they can be done by people who have little or no CrossFit experience, and you can try one free. Then you have a start now button. That's great. I mean, that is, you couldn't be more upfront about what CrossFit is and what you are going to do with the program. And I love the claim of how many people you guys have trained, essentially being no one's trained as many people as you guys have.
I'm pretty sure it's true. I mean, there may be someone operating out there that I don't know about, but I'm quite sure that I've validated more open scores than anyone on the planet.
I believe that. I remember dropping into your class or a class at CrossFit NYC 7 or 8 years ago. It's been a long time since I've been there. And you guys were just bursting at the seams. I mean, you have the facility I went to was really big, and it was full of people. Like you guys are definitely have a lot of athletes, a lot of participants coming through your classes and your gyms. Tell us about your first experience with CrossFit and how you decided to get involved with the affiliate world.
It was before there was an affiliate in Manhattan, when there were just the 16 listed on the website. And then, following the main site, eventually I heard, there's one in New York City, and you could go down to some gym in Chinatown where they were renting space, in an MMA space, and got kicked out because they were too dangerous relative to the other people who were kicking themselves in the head or whatever. But and then it was a year before we got our first location, and I was a member. And then I early on bought out one of the partners, and over the years bought out the others. And I mean, some of them have departed more unceremoniously than others, but now it's me.
And you've been involved that entire time and driving it and leading it and developing the trainers, developing the culture, developing the essence of what is CrossFit NYC.
I mean, I had help over the years. I have to credit some partners that I had earlier on. But yeah, it's me. And, yeah.
You have how many coaches do you guys have at your two gyms? You have a pretty big team.
We'll probably have about 14 now.
Okay. And what are the differences?
It was at the peak.
What are the difference between the two gyms, the two locations?
I mean, they're just two different locations. One's on the Upper West Side, and it's in a basement because it's on Columbus Avenue. You could throw a baseball and hit Lincoln Center, so it's very expensive rent. But since it's in a basement, it's a bit cheaper. The one that you saw down in Flatiron is in an old office building, and we have a large floor there. It used to be 2 floors, but we have a large floor there.
What was your first level one? Where was that?
It was with you in Oregon, in Portland.
For a lot of the old timers, for people who've been around for a long time, like their first level ones, there was a pretty good chance you were with myself, Nicole, or Greg.
Was there. Nicole was there. Greg was there, and it was the first interview that Kelly Starrett ever did. He interviewed me in 3 parts, and it ended up on the main site.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was the old days.
It was in Portland at Kevin Allen's gym. I think CrossFit Hell, right? Do you remember that? Yeah,
That
I think that
sounds
was
right,
it.
but I can't. I
Uh,
could look it up, but
Do
I
you
don't.
remember if Nadia was at that one?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
I
That's this.
remember her getting her first muscle up.
Yes.
At that. Yes, Nadia
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
there. Right.
Exactly. I remember that, and I remember helping her get her first muscle up, and she was so excited.
I sort of remember she got it the first time. She just did it. Just
Yeah.
pull and do
She's
that. Yeah, she was.
gifted,
Yeah,
gifted and strong.
absolutely.
How is the Are the cultures of the two locations like vastly different, or are they very similar?
Um, the Upper West Side location, people can walk to the gym, so they walk there, they walk home. The downtown location, people are passing to and from work, so people are more likely to hang around on the Upper West Side. Um, but I don't know that it's that different. It's 18, it's a mile and a half apart. It's hard to say. I don't think it's that different. It's still New York. It's still people who live in an apartment building with 200 other people that they never speak to, and so it's still New York. I mean, I still hear from people who drop in. Well, they don't, you know. Shake hands before the class or do sort of a lot of the more really closeness that occurs outside of New York. You just can't do in New York. People, it's just not the same.
Do you think the type of people who come into the to a CrossFit gym, your CrossFit gym specifically, has changed a lot over the last decade? Are you seeing? Do you feel like it's a different type of clientele or a different person with different goals?
I think so. I mean, the old days was forging elite fitness, and these people were the first movers, and now it's more people. I'm tired of Orange Theory, and I hear this is a little different or better. So they're more. It's probably not the right word. They're more normal than, or they're more like the general population
Yeah,
than it used to be.
yeah, and it's interesting because the average or people that are more like the general population is the foundation of this methodology and the affiliate base. Meaning, if it was just elite athletes all the time or just really high end performers, there wouldn't be as big of a market. And on that note, do you guys have? Would you say you have anybody who's really into the competitive scene, or are most people just into health?
We don't. I mean, we did that for a while. We ran competition team, but at some level, I point out to people that the probability of walking into an affiliate and ending up at the games is much, much lower than the probability of walking into Little League and ending up in the major leagues. That literally a
Right.
higher percentage of Little Leaguers make it to the majors than make it from the affiliate to the games. And it was just too much resources to do that. And you know, other affiliates located elsewhere, people can move there, train at Mayhem or whatever. No one moves to Manhattan to
Yeah.
train in Manhattan. No matter, there's a reason that you don't think of the great college football teams from Manhattan, or
Yeah.
that's just the nature of it. It's just not. It doesn't draw an athletic lifestyle.
Do you do any coaching yourself still, or do you maybe have your team do it?
No, it's all my team. It's been my team for a long, long time.
Who's your most senior coach?
Brian DiGennaro,
Okay.
who started with us when he was in 10th grade in 2005 and has never worked anywhere else in the world. And at this point has coached somewhere around 14 or 15,000 classes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
And he
on
works with
lifting, everything. Yeah.
he works and develops the rest of the coaches.
I mean, he's our senior coach. Yes, he's involved in development a lot, but it is crazy that people go, yeah, I had this guy Brian. He's really good. I go, yeah, it's like his 15,000th class, and
Yeah,
yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah, he's never. I mean, we've had good retention. When I sent out the W-2s this year, we sent out 12 W-2s, and I handed them to everyone. No one was gone. You know what I mean? It used to be in the early days, we have 36 W-2s and there's 19 people working here. Do we have an address to mail this one or that one? But now everyone is a regular, stays around.
Having been in this business for so long, in this CrossFit affiliate business, what do you think? What advice would you give to a new affiliate owner, or even not even a new affiliate owner? How about someone who's been doing it for 6 or 7 years and is call it tired, or maybe questioning why they're still doing it? What advice do you give to them?
I was looking for that advice myself. I'm pretty tired. I mean, it varies so much, right? Some people are in small communities and they go, if I could only get from 15 people to 20 people, I don't know what to say to them, right? Um, and, other people have more challenging problems, but I think there's good coaching advice good affiliate advice out there with Two Brain,
Yep.
some of the others. I use Two Brain, and it's helpful as much experience as I have. So um, I think there are good ones out there. I mean,
How
so
much? How long have you been using Two Brain or working with Two Brain?
um, a little over a year.
Okay. Before that, did you work with anyone else?
No,
And since working with them, you think you've really enjoyed it and it's valuable?
yeah, I do. Um, it's good to have someone else that has a more neutral perspective, right? Because if you ask another affiliate owner, I mean, obviously they have something to say, but they've lived in their, they've seen one affiliate or two affiliates. It to me, working with Two Brain was like when I went to business school, right? Like this, there's a wider perspective of a range of what works or what doesn't work or best practices or why do you keep doing this? No one does that anymore.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of that's helpful. I find it helpful.
Besides the business aspect, what would you give as advice to be a successful affiliate? Putting like some of the business pieces aside, what would you recommend to someone to focus on? Culture, coaching.
I mean, I think it's really easy when you own a business to um, sort of have a relaxed standard for what employees can do and what you can do. And coming from a corporate background, I always tried to keep things, as professional as possible, which helped minimize the drama with coaches dating members, and we avoided, you know, special butterfly members who don't pay a membership because they do this, and we do our best to avoid different price structures. We try our best to treat all our members equally, and that's helped reduce the drama, I think, for us that I often hear about. I hear a lot, oh, this coach left and 22 people left with him or her. And odds are, there's been a lot of drama and lack of structure in the background going on for a long, long time if one of your coaches is walking out with half your membership. So,
Yeah, for sure. And we've seen that a lot throughout the last couple decades of being involved with CrossFit.
yeah. And, I, one of the things that really served us well and got us through COVID is we've always paid everyone on the books. We paid them correctly with a W-4. We don't play the 1099 game under the theory that they're outside contractors when they're not outside contractors. Which when COVID hit, everyone got the full range of benefits from day one, and some other affiliates, not too far away, didn't do that, and their coaches sort of got screwed. So, I've found that doing everything professionally and right has served over the long haul in a way that sort of short term. It's like it's like training, right? The short term stuff never really works.
Do you feel like, yeah, being greedy and being short-term focused isn't usually the right answer? You have to have a long-term focus.
Yeah.
What do you feel like you guys recovered well from COVID, or still kind of coming out of that? Because I know a lot of gyms, the impact that had on their membership from COVID, some are still working to fully recover from.
Yeah, we're not fully recovered because New York is not even remotely fully recovered.
Yeah.
Office for the Flatiron location that you pass through, right? That's mostly a location for people that are coming to or from the office. And when they're coming to or from the office 2 days a week instead of 5 days a week, that makes, a huge difference. We used to run 3 classes at lunch. Now we have sort of 1 class at lunch that's half full.
Yep.
Mostly people aren't back to work. And, the economic climate in New York through COVID got worse and worse for small businesses because, from the city's point of view, we keep the big box stores open and Amazon.com open, and we get all our sales tax swept in. And so zillions of small entrepreneurs got wiped out and haven't recovered. So we're going to make it, but we're still significantly behind where we once were.
How many other affiliates now? I didn't look at the map, but do we still have a decent number of affiliates in New York, in Manhattan?
More than half are gone from before COVID. There were 22 before COVID, and I think there are really maybe 6 that are really in the game for the next 2 or 3 years, and maybe there are 3 or 4 others that I'm hopeful for, but I'm not sure where they're at. But there's certainly less than half of what there was.
Do you guys have a good relationship with the other? Do the gyms in New York kind of talk or collaborate, or do they kind of just do their own thing?
We kind of do our own thing. There's no hard feelings among anyone, but New York is such a neighborhood kind of place that I just don't run into other affiliate owners much. I'm friendly with Anthony from Hell's Kitchen from the days, but he's since sold. I had dinner with him the other night, but no, I'm not. I've hired one of my senior coaches owned 212 and he sold it before COVID, perfect timing. But no, I mean the affiliates kind of do their own thing, and there's just so few around. I mean,
How far is Dennis and Jen from you? How far is their box?
oh, they're in Garden City. They're on Long Island.
Okay.
I mean, you take an hour to get there or
Yeah.
45 minutes to get there.
Got it. Do you still train yourself? Like actually work? Like, are you still hitting the gym, or do you do your own thing at home?
I do my own thing at the gym.
At the gym?
I don't do our classes. I still make a conscious effort to lift a couple days a week and do some time on the rower and the ski erg, but I'm not doing Fran lately. I'm going to be 67 this year.
Neither am I.
Yeah.
Doing Fran.
There you go. Well, that's right. It's supposed to be. I'm trying to live the new philosophy that it's for normal people. So
yeah.
So,
I think that's kind of it.
Much.
I don't think of that philosophy as new, but I know what you're saying. Like, I think that's been part of the messaging for a very long time. I think it's just been hard to crack through to some people because of not. I'll say this: when I go into most affiliates around the country, and even 10 years ago or 12 years ago, again, like the average clientele and people in most of those locations were not, high level competitors. There's a mindset and a motivation that everyone who enters a gym needs. That's been pretty consistent. Like it can be the first step of actually taking a class for a lot of people requires, taking a risk and jumping in and trying. But the ability levels has, I believe, always varied greatly. And that's a positive thing. And that's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. But remember, our DNA was forging elite fitness. And whether it's still on the logo or not, there's a certain amount of residual of elite fitness mentality. And, you can see that in the games, obviously, which is a big part of how people perceive CrossFit. So, yes, it's elite fitness for everyone, which is, that's a complicated sell. It's a little bit like saying, we teach physics for everyone and we'll scale it. So even if you can't do algebra and you can't do math, we'll teach you some physics. And some people don't rapidly buy that, even though there's a lot to be learned without the high end.
Yep. Absolutely. What program, before we go, I'm trying to keep these at 20 minutes.
Yep.
What programming do you guys follow? Your own or?
We write our own programming. One of the philosophical changes that has evolved for us in the last couple of years is, I still pretty much agree with everything Glassman's ever said, and the Hopper concept makes good sense. But as time goes on and affiliates sort of got more and more structured in their programming and more predictable, one of the models we moved to is that on certain days, we use certain components of fitness. That is, on
Yep.
Wednesday and Saturday, we do strength, cardio, stamina, and flexibility, but we're not doing coordination, agility, accuracy, balance, which means, long way of saying, on Wednesday and Saturday, you can do our WODs right off the street. And if you're going to come in and try a class, that's the day we do it. We don't say, come in and try a class. Today we're doing handstand walks and snatches. Well, we can scale it for you. That doesn't
Yeah.
have the same reaction as today we're pushing the sled and doing the ski erg and stuff like that. So that's one of the big changes we made in recent years,
And
which is still part of the variety of CrossFit.
Yeah. I hear that, and I don't hear you're not doing CrossFit. Like, I
Right.
hear that and think like, yeah, that is very,
Yeah.
it's just adapting to your own needs and adapting to your own desire to how to put it forward to your clients and potentially new members.
Yep.
So yeah, I like that. Who does that? Who programs for you?
There's a brain trust that does that,
Okay.
our senior coaches, and there's a lot of back and forth before that comes out. And now, unlike the old days when it's like, surprise, this is the WOD tomorrow. Every week in the newsletter, our members see what's coming up this week and why we're doing it and where it is in the progression and that sort of stuff. So our newsletter, has the whole week laid out with some sort of depth. And there's a team that produces that of our coaches.
Are you doing the open? Do you sign up for the open?
I have to sign up for the open in order to
to do the
be able to
validation.
judge it. Well, I do the WODs probably. Yeah.
How many years have you done the open? Every year?
No, there are a couple of years I didn't, but at least 12, right? I would say I would say 12 or more.
Yeah. Are you excited about it?
You and me, right? Am I?
It's still recording.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, and it's
Yeah.
a lot of logistics to balance and to explain, and it's a lot of work.
And you know what? Like, that's I think that's one of the benefits of having the 3 week versus the old 5 week. I think the 5 week was just like, wow, that was a big effort for everyone,
That is a huge benefit. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Well, we kind of were forced into it through COVID and everything else going on at the time, and to rethink how we were doing things and then decide on going to the 3 week. I'm glad it stayed, because it does make more sense for I think the affiliate owners and those who are putting it on and having to bear the burden of hosting it at their gyms.
Of course, it used to be over after 4 or 5 weeks. Now I have a second round of 20% who want to do the next round. So it's 3 plus 5 for 20% that move on, and it's not a cakewalk.
No,
but it's part of being an affiliate, and I'm okay, and I support that.
Cool. Well, I appreciate the time. Thank you. Next time I'm out in New York, I will hit you up. And are you going to go to Albany? How far is Albany? A couple hours, right?
Yeah, it's 160 miles. I'll probably be there. Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, we're actually, no, I can't say this yet. I'll wait to say it, but I might see you sooner than that then.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dave. Bye-bye.
Bye.